we certainly last but not least, we have a special treat for all of you. We didn't expect her to be here tonight, but a lovely young actress who is really the focal point of the gentle tug of war between Elisa and Brad's characters showed up tonight to support her co-stars, and I thought it might be fun to bring her up on stage. This charming young lady has been acting professionally since the tender age of 7. When I was 7, I didn't know how to tie my shoes. And her star is quickly rising. Her very first television, I still don't. Her very first I heard that. Her very first television credit was Yo Gabba Gabba. I must admit, I don't know what that is. She loves all animals and actually has horses of her own, so no stunt casting for this movie, as well as a donkey, 4 dogs, 2 cats, and a bunch of other critters. She also she has also said that she would like to be, through her work, a positive role model for young people. Please welcome the charming and very talented Kirstin Dorn. Oh, look, the family's back together. So let me start with you two, the adults, first. I was looking over your bios and in preparation for tonight. Of course, I know Brad's by heart.
Should I be worried?
No. We've done 3 of these before.
I thought I saw someone out in the bushes outside the house.
Listen, what I was doing with that bottle of Vaseline and the machete is none of your business. No, I'm just kidding.
You're muffs.
I've lost control of the room. Okay, so Kirstin's mother's going to take her off stage in about 30 seconds.
Stop recording.
Stop recording.
Stop recording.
So what struck me was how sort of versatile and enduring each of your careers has been. You've made your way through the business, and you've featured yourself in literally every form of recorded media, right? I mean, you've done just about everything.
Yeah, I'm a terrible singer, but I played a lip singer before. Yeah, I would say that the business is so incredibly precarious, and when you're fortunate enough to have something that's really successful in the beginning when you're young, it can be confusing and really exciting, and the mistake, I think, is to think that it's always going to be that way, so you kind of have to prepare yourself to understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint, and it's hard sometimes to overcome what people see you as in one way when you're good at it, especially, and then you say, oh, but I can do other things, and people don't necessarily want you to, so it's a tricky thing to stay around, I think. But
Actually, one of my first jobs that I had,
yes, that's right.
I was a guest on Clueless, the television show. And I played a record store manager in the Valley who was totally not kill.
And my character was going undercover in the Valley.
So typecasting.
She was my ex-girlfriend who
that's right.
I was the reason you hated the Valley.
That's right. I just remember something about a fruitcake. Remember there was like a cake or like a something that Stacey was the
cheese log.
Yes,
cheese
right.
log. She was eating a cheese log. Sorry.
That's right.
We're digressing.
We are, but so we've known each other a long time. And then we studied a long.
We studied together with Jeffrey Tambor.
Mm-hmm. And with Larry, did we study Larry? With Larry Moss?
So with Larry Moss at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we crossed paths for many years.
Well, these are obviously your peers, and I guess the crux of my question is, back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, a performer in Los Angeles, for example, could be a movie actor, or he was a television actor, or she was a, but do you find that in order to sort of make ends meet, to be a working actor, to get the job done, you really have to sort of diversify your portfolio and try a little bit of everything?
I definitely think so, while still being mindful of the sort of material you're working on. It's a tricky thing to navigate, especially now with all of these lower budget films. This was made for under $1 million, and there were a lot of things you have to kind of meander through. But you just, I think, always have to think about the material still, and while definitely diversifying. But with some of these new contracts, it also allows for a lot of junk to get made, and I really say that very openly, because I don't mean everything is going to be fantastic that you work on, but I just mean for it to have integrity. You have to really think about that, I think.
But who would have thought 10 years ago Glenn Close would have done television?
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
I think the material.
I think you also have to find things that keep it fresh for you. I think there have been periods where I've gone through and done a series of dark roles, and I'm like, God, I really need to find something fun, like a comedy to work on right now. And I think you need to try and motivate your people to get out and look for those things for you too, because sometimes they'll rest on their laurels and they'll just keep, so yeah, he's the guy who plays this,
yes.
and you have to stay on your people to get them to recreate how you're, how you want to be perceived, or how the kind of work that you would like to do.
Absolutely, to be proactive with your people for sure.
So do you feel the need to keep your acting muscles fresh? Do you take classes? Do you still train?
I definitely do, and I work with a teacher. I take workshops with her more than regular classes, like a weekly class. I do workshops with her, for sure, yeah. And because a lot of times that's the only area where you get to work on material that's really rich in ways and that's very deep or different from what you may be getting paid to do. I particularly, it's so funny that in the beginning of my career I played these really sort of, ugly, mean people, and then now all I do is play nice people all the time. And it's actually really pleasant to do that, but it's taken a while for that to...
Is it more fun to play bad?
It's funny, like with Gail, with the web series, this character is so relentlessly kind. She just is nice to everyone all the time. And I was like, Jesus, this is really tiring to be this nice all day. But and I'm a really nice person, I think, but I would, this is really tough. No, I mean to be so giving. I don't know, it's
I think also a way to keep yourself kind of fresh and into things is, you can go out and shoot your own projects. And, actually,
yes.
we've been working on a little...
Coming to a theater near you in like 15
2025.
years. Yeah.
Just goofing around. We got a couple of cameras and a couple people and, just start shooting some stuff or improvisation or whatever it is. And, we've also had the chance to... my MIP Talk partner right here, Noam Dromey, who I've got this wonderful podcast going with, we've also created a lot of sort of material, and I think through writing and through producing different things, you get the chance to sort of fire different muscles that you're not necessarily going to get all the opportunities handed to you to do.
Yeah, and it definitely cultivates, I think, certainly for me, just your creative spirit and your sense of yourself, because it's so hard, when we all have auditions and you don't get jobs and it's just repeated and repeated. I mean, everybody goes through that, everyone. And it can be really debilitating. And, being able to take any sort of control back of your instrument and your artistry, I think is really important. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about either MIP Talk or In Gale We Trust, but I'm going to plug it relentlessly because in Gale We Trust, Elisa plays this sort of, she really has this sort of Mary Tyler Moore-like skill. She's the sane one surrounded by crazies, and it's just so wonderful and charming. And I hope everybody checks it out. It's really great. And Brad is doing MIPTalk.com, and he interviews the world's most fascinating people, and he talks to everyone from Ryan Murphy to nuclear physicists. Got to admit, the latter one's out.
Actually, Noam and I I think we just put out our 100th episode, and we've got about 120 in the can, and we're SAG signatory for our video portions. A lot of what we do is just audio, just out of convenience, but we'll find ourselves at things like the Clinton Global Initiative, sitting down with officials from the White House, or at innovation conferences across the country, or just sitting around with academics and things like that. And I think that also having those interactions and hearing those stories and seeing what is out in the world and the exceptional things that other people are doing out there is just great fuel for you as you're trying to explore other characters as well.
So, Kirstin, you're 11?
Yes, I am.
Going on 20, right?
Yeah,
So, I have in my notes that you've been working steadily since you started in this business, but You're an